Good evening, everyone. Before we start, I'm gonna go ahead and take my restorative enzyme, my digestive enzyme, and a little type 1 liquid collagen. So, cap full, bottoms up. Whew. So, tonight we'll talk about gaining strength from life in general. So, last I left off, I talked about how Deshaun was an amazing man, a great life partner, and just amazing in general. But for him to get there and for me to get where I was, we both had to go through horrible, destructive relationships. I won't name anybody from his past, but as you guys all know, from my past, it was Jeremy. And it was trying, you know, Deshaun being an African American man and me being an Asian American woman. A lot of people didn't think that we should be together. The one line that my dad always said to me was, "You need to break up with him because he's going to kill you and he's going to take your life insurance policy and we'll never see you again." And I was like, "Well, guess what, Dad? Joke's on you. You didn't take our life insurance policy on me. So I couldn't make him a beneficiary anyways. I had to take my own life insurance policy out of myself." So that was really funny. But Deshaun and I moved in and we didn't have anything much. We still actually now live a very minimalist lifestyle. But our first TV was a 32-inch flat screen TV, and we got it for $650. And then that following Christmas, they took it down to $150, and we were so ticked off. We couldn't even take our receipt back to get our money back, but that was okay. So in the midst of our relationship starting, we didn't have a vehicle, so we would take the bus everywhere. And then I quit my job at Arby's, and I was working at Sterling Optical at Brookfield Square, and that's no longer there, but that's where I was working. And then they took Taco Bell out of Brookfield, and they transferred him and his whole entire store staff to the one on Highway 100 and Brookfield Road. So the one right there. And that's where he was. So because he was no longer at the mall, he wasn't working mall hours anymore. He was working a regular store hours. So we didn't see each other much at all. I worked during the day and he worked at night, and it was just really hard on us. So I was like, "Hey, why don't I try to go buy a car?" Of course, I couldn't because Jeremy had ruined my credit and I didn't have any money because we had just robbed. So we did what we could to get by. And one night, my dad actually went with me to go get the car. And they said, "You know what, Gal, you can't get the car by yourself. But if your dad co-signs, you can get the car." So I'm like, "Okay, well, let's take it home for the night and see what we say." You know what he says? My dad looked me straight in the eye and he said, "I'll help you get the car if you break up with your boyfriend." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Are you kidding me?" He said, "Yes, I will help you get the car if you break up with your boyfriend." And I was just like, "Wow, that's crazy." Like, the color of my boyfriend's skin was so different that my dad was willing to help me buy a car, not buy me a car because I would be paying him, but he would co sign a car for me if I broke up with my boyfriend. And I said no. So I took the car back the following day and I told the very nice gentleman the truth. And he was just kind of shocked. He's just kind of like, in the days that there are now, like, that's still an issue. I mean, even now, 12 years later, the color of people's skin is still an issue. But, we worked past that and we gained strength from that. And all the curveballs that life keeps throwing at us, this happened, and then his mom moved in because, she needed someplace else to stay, and then all the stuff that just happened. It was like there were never ending obstacles. And Deshaun and I would always say it's us against the world. And it truly is sometimes, the two of us against the world. Nobody wanted us to be together. Um, I'm Asian, he's black, and some people didn't care. Some people actually rooted for us, but others didn't. But, there were a lot of things. And at some point, Jeremy had came back into my life, which was shame on me. He did his thing again. He spun his web of lies. He said, "Oh yeah, I have a car and I share it with this girl now, and I'm a manager at Abercrombie, and blah blah blah. So can I come see you?" And I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's changed. I should give him the benefit of the doubt. And granted, I still had the restraining order on him. At that point, it was illegal for him to contact me, but it was not illegal for me to contact him. I didn't care. I didn't want to talk to him. But he reached out and I said, you know what? Maybe he is changing. And I want to be a better person, so maybe I should give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, lo and behold, a week, and I realized that he wasn't, that he didn't change, that he was just spinning another web of lies to try to get my attention. So at that point, I was a bad person and I had lied to my boyfriend about it. And I had used Jeremy's middle name. And Deshaun put two and two together and was like, yeah, I know that's Jeremy. It's not your friend so and so from the other city. Even though I did truly have a friend with that same name from another city. So he's like, you know what? You just need to stop. Like, it's going to be him or me. And I'm like, you're right. It is you. So I told Jeremy, I was like, I can't talk to you anymore because this relationship is worth it. You are not worth it. I've already gone through this road with you. I know you're not going to change. You're just going to continue to take advantage of me. So I'm done. And he was so upset. Like, he started calling me over and over. And every single time I would pick up and I say, you know what? Leave me alone. And it got so bad that Deshaun got on the phone. And Deshaun's like, you know what, babe, you just gotta stop answering. Because even to him, bad attention is still attention. And he's just happy you're giving it to him. You need to stop giving him that satisfaction and just don't answer. And back then, he would use this phone app where he could disguise the phone number to look like someone I knew. Like, he would disguise the phone number to look like it was my mom calling me. And he did it so often that I just stopped answering a number that I knew. And I would like call the following day, like, hey, mom, were you trying to call me? And she's like, no. So I knew it was him, but I wouldn't answer. And one night, Jeremy had called, and Deshaun was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm sick of it. Let me talk to him. I'm like, okay. And I'm like hysterical at this point. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, oh my God. Meanwhile, I mean, keep in mind, I could have sent him to jail at any time, but I knew that if I sent him to jail, I would be giving him that power over me, and he would have been satisfied with that. And I didn't want to give him that satisfaction. So I never did. And Deshaun got on the phone and he's like, hey, she doesn't want to talk to you. And Jeremy, being the narcissist that he was, he said, you know what? I know a lot of poor Black people who would take the money and just do what they need to. I asked them to do, like, get you out of the way. And Deshaun laughed and he's like, dude, do you hear what you're saying? Like, I'm a Black person. They would never take that from a white person. Like, you don't even know anybody like that. So stop talking your game. Don't play in a man's world when you're still a boy, basically. And then he hung up the phone and I didn't answer anymore. So even though he kept calling and he kept calling and he kept calling and he kept calling, he I no longer picked up. So he finally got the hint. Okay, I'm not going to answer. And he finally left me alone. Let's see. Let me grab my phone for a moment. So oh, at this point in time, I just said, you know what, screw it. I'll just make new accounts for everything. New email, new Facebook. I got rid of my old bank account. I made a new bank account. And I was always afraid that he would make more accounts for me because he memorized my social security number. I wouldn't doubt it if he still knew my social security number. But, I have stuff in line to protect myself from that now. Um, so it's like all of this stuff over and over, and him just threatening me and threatening me. It was just him seeking attention. And one time he picked up, he called me, and I thought that it was like finally over. And it was like a year afterwards, and he had called me and he said, hello. I said, hello? Hi, hello. And he said, hey, it's me. And I didn't answer. I just was like super quiet. He goes, I just thought you should know that my mom died. And then I hung up. And then he called back and I didn't answer. So he left me a voicemail. He goes, you stupid bitch. Like, I can't believe you're such a cold hearted bitch like that. My mom died and you can't even be there for me. And I'm thinking to myself, A, your mom never liked me. She actually kind of hated me. B, this is just probably a ploy to get my attention and it's not going to work. Oh, which reminds me, there was a separate call before this where he called me and he said, hey, just so you know, I was diagnosed with gonorrhea. But I thought because we slept with each other, you should know. And I'm like, I'm freaking out for nothing. But then I remembered I didn't sleep with him after that. So there was like no chance of me catching the gonorrhea. And, you know, Deshaun and I continued life as is. And we went and got married because I told him, hey, buddy, I want to have kids. I want to be married. And if you don't want that, that's fine. But we need to go our separate ways because I can't keep wasting my time. I wasted it with a guy who beat me for 2 years. And as much as I love you, I can't keep waiting for you to be on the same page with me. So that's that. So then we get married and it's beautiful and we have beautiful children and I have beautiful stepchildren and life is amazing and life continues to throw us curveballs, but that's what it does. We work together to work past it. Even though I may be a nervous wreck sometimes, that's my thing. I go ahead and I break down and cry it out, feel depressed for a moment, and then I pick myself back up because I know that I have to deal with life. Life is not going to wait for me to deal with my situations. I have to do it myself. And with the help of friends and God and all that stuff, I'm able to do it. Let's see. So I actually want to share with you guys. Um, let's see. Jeremy did contact me a couple years ago via my old Facebook account. Let's see. This was on December 20th, 2017. Sometimes I wish I could take back how I was back then. It still hurts me to know who and what I was. I had crazy mental health issues and didn't ever want to involve you in them. I was never sorry for anything. I was never sorry then for anything. Just know you didn't deserve it. So if you've never gotten a legitimate apology from me without a lie involved, I am sorry. Now, he sent that to me using my old Facebook account that he wouldn't give back. And I was just finally giving it up. And I didn't answer. But a little bit after that, his friend, his childhood best friend had reached out to me and said, just so Jeremy's mom died. And I said, you know what? I'm very sorry that he lost his mother. It losing one's mother is very, very difficult. But as cold as that was, I said, to be honest, I really don't care because that woman was horrible to me. And like her dying doesn't phase me at all. I'm very sorry that you lost her because I know that she made a big impact in your life. But for me, it's nothing. And it's like all I can say is that trust your gut, trust your instincts. If you feel red flags, run the opposite direction. Do not wait and think that you can change someone because when two people are meant to be together, they change together. They change with each other. They evolve. One person doesn't ask the other person to change while the other one stays the same. You know, I mean, I don't know how it is, but for me, that's what I found is that relationships are ever changing, they're ever evolving. And if you don't evolve with each other, it'll never work. If one person, if the relationship is very one sided, it won't work. Deshaun said I don't know if I said this before, but he said something that was really important to me. And I believe it to this day is that a relationship is based off of three things: love, sex, and friendship. And and there's other things, but all those other things lie under the three. So with me and Jeremy, it didn't work because there was no friendship. And the love was very one-sided. And hell, so was the sex. Um, he didn't respect me. He saw me as property, and he didn't think that I was ever going to go anywhere. So if you don't have any of those things, the relationship will not work. And right now, I have a wonderful husband. I have three beautiful girls, um, and we are making changes. I joined a wonderful network marketing company, which is teaching me amazing life altering things and just things that I thought that I could never achieve. And this company is helping me get there. Um, I can only get to my goal if I enact and practice what they teach. But this company has been so liberating. It actually convinced me to quit my job of almost 11 years. The goal was to do that, but I gave myself a bit of a timeline. But after going to one of those seminars, it was so empowering and just amazing meeting this amazing group of people who are willing to invest in you and see the potential in you. And it gave me the courage to quit my job. I gave them a 3-week notice and finished a 60-page PowerPoint. And then that was my last day. And don't get me wrong, this job was amazing as far as self-development. I mean, now I know how to do spreadsheets and VLOOKUPs and pivot tables and analyzing data and creating PowerPoints and animation that flies from one page to the other and stuff. So it was great in that aspect, but I couldn't see myself growing anymore. John C. Maxwell has this saying, law of the lid. If the management is the lid and you're the air. And if the lid doesn't lift, the air has nowhere to go. So it's stagnant. And though I had a great leader directly above me, two great leaders, I was very blessed. The lid above them would not lift any higher. There was no room to grow. And I didn't want to be in management because people suck. I like being with like-minded people, and when like-minded people are together, they have the same goal and they want to reach that goal. When you're in management, sometimes you are presiding over people who don't have those same goals. And then after I quit, after my last day, 2 days later, they were bought up by their competitors. So it was kind of like life was telling me I had to go. And I went just in time. And everybody's like, "Did you know?" And I'm like, "Of course I didn't know. I took a leap of faith. I took a Hail Mary and I'm doing great. I mean, it's long hours what I'm doing now, but I'm meeting amazing people, networking like crazy. Um, I'm back into Taekwondo. Actually, next Saturday, I will be testing for my green belt. So I'll be a black belt in 2 years. You see, you watch, you see. I'll be posting videos of me and Sophie and Deshawn doing stuff. It's amazing stuff. Um, but, but yeah, we're doing good. Life is always challenging and life will always be challenging, but you have to be the one to create change and to be resilient and persevere, because not a lot of people have it. Not a lot of people can stick it out. So stay tuned, because next episode I'll talk about how Jeremy reached out to me about a month ago and we had discussion and closure on our relationship. Okay, thanks, you guys. Have a good night.